Good afternoon, dear friends. In front of us is the NORDBERG model 4523C balancing machine. It's quite reliable and easy to use. Now I'll tell you how to use it and show you everything clearly in this video. Let's start with what's included. The manual is in Russian. A caliper. A cup with a rubber ring, either for balancing or for alloy wheels. A balancing pliers. A quick release nut with a plastic ring. A 100-gram weight for calibrating this machine with a stamped wheel. I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that the set includes 4 cones, from smallest to largest. And I would count this as one of the machine's advantages. Simplicity, reliability, cost, compact size, and also, unlike competitors, it has a brake pedal. Let's move on to the process of balancing stamped wheels. When balancing stamped wheels, the cone can be installed either from the inside or the outside. First of all, paradoxically, you need to choose the right cone. We take the first cone and see that it almost completely fits into the center hole. Accordingly, for balancing, we choose the second cone, where the wheel sits roughly in the center of the cone. This will be more correct. The cone we selected. A quick release nut with a plastic ring. This recess is designed so that we can place the wheel here and install it on the shaft together with it. Under no circumstances should the wheel rub against the shaft. The mating surface must be perfectly clean. The shaft must also be perfectly clean. The hub surface on the wheel should also be clean. This will improve the quality of the balancing. We install the wheel onto the shaft. The wheel is placed onto the cone. Push it as close to the stand as possible. Put on the quick release balancing nut and start tightening it. Press the brake pedal to lock the shaft in place. That's it, the wheel is mounted on the machine. The machine is ready to work. So let's move on to the process of entering the wheel dimensions. The machine has started up. These indicators show that the machine is waiting for us to enter the wheel dimensions. When these indicators are off, the mode for 2 clip-on weights is selected. Let's enter the A, B, and D dimensions. The A dimension is read on the tape measure using the sliding ruler. Please note that this protrusion on the ruler should always rest against the rim flange. Press it against the rim and check the measurement on the yellow scale. Ours is 8.5. Set the A dimension to 8.5. Take the caliper and measure the width of the rim. In our case, the measurement is 5.5 inches. 5.5 inches. You might ask me where to get the third parameter. It's written directly on the tire. R14. Enter the D dimension here, 14. After that, close the cover and measure the wheel imbalance. The value on the monitor is 10 by 55. By rotating the wheel, select the plane to the right, 55. When all the indicators light up, press the brake pedal to lock the wheel in place. And attach the 55-gram weight on the right side at the 12 o'clock position. Do the same with the second imbalance of 10 grams. On the monitor, select all the indicators for 10 grams at the 12 o'clock position. Let me show you an example of how it usually happens during installation. We don't have a 55, but we do have a 20 and a 35. When we put them on the wheel, don't forget that we need to shift the center of gravity of the two weights. Let's move over here and show it from this side. That's it, the 55-gram imbalance. Hang it exactly at the 12 o'clock position. But when we install two weights, we hang them so that their combined center of gravity is at the 12 o'clock position. Slightly fasten the weights in place. Also, attach a 10-gram weight on the other side, also at 12 o'clock. That's it, the weights are installed. Now we just need to close the cover and take another measurement. On the monitor, we expect to see a value of 00, balanced. Let's move on to the process of balancing alloy wheels. We've chosen a non-standard wheel, 22 inches in diameter and 9 inches wide. It's so big that it barely fits on the balancing machine. It's with wheels like these that you might run into some issues. And now I'll show you how to balance them correctly. There are 3 balancing modes for alloy wheels. The first is ALUS. I'll show you how to use it in a moment. It's more precise and more accurate. And there are 2 simplified modes, ALU2 and ALU3. First, let's use the right cone. As shown in the previous part of the video, we take a cone and select it based on the hole in the wheel. The second cone fits perfectly. We'll install the cone from the inside. Then the wheel. Next, remove the ring from the quick release nut. Install the cup with the rubber gasket and place it on the outside part of the wheel. Now we'll mount the wheel onto the balancer shaft and show how to balance it and enter the measurements. Let's mount the wheel onto the shaft. The cone is already pre-installed on the shaft. Take the wheel. Grab the quick release nut with the cup and rubber gasket attached. Press the brake pedal to lock the shaft in place and install and tighten the nut. That's it, the wheel is installed. Now let's select the light alloy wheel mode, ALU2 program. Press the ALU button. 1, 2, 3, ALU2 program. Let's enter the size. The size is entered the same way as in the previous part of the video. Align the gauge and place it under the edge. Here, the size is 5 centimeters. Let's move to the display. Size A is 5. The rim width is 9. And the D size is 22. That's all. The mode is selected, close the cover. Wait for the machine to show the imbalance on the screen. 50 by 35. By the way, the fine button shows the value here down to 1 gram. 37, so in fact, we can also put a 40-gram weight. So now, I'll show you further how to properly install the weights. Let's select the 35 plane. And the feature of this program is that we can first balance the right side to 0 and then move on to the left. And what's especially old school is that imbalance is always determined at a distance of 19 centimeters using the tape measure, regardless of the width of the rim. So in our case, here's the 35-gram weight. We need to place it exactly opposite on the tip of the shaft where our wheel is mounted and stick it on at the top. So the machine showed the imbalance right at this spot. But we're going to put the weight right here on the rim, and here the weight should be smaller. Here's how the process works. First, we balance the right side and use a weight that's about 20% less than what the monitor shows. Let's take a 25-gram weight and place it on the right side surface. We'll choose the 12 o'clock position. That's about where we'll put it. Let's start it up. We installed 25 grams on the right instead of 35. The right side is balanced. Now we just need to balance the left side. Accordingly, it might ask for some more weight on the right. In that case, we select the right plane and add to the old weight. Let's say right here. We add more imbalance, either on the left side or the right, until we get it to 0. Now we just need to balance the inner side. We take a 50-gram self-adhesive weight and set it at the 12 o'clock position. That's it, the second weight is installed. Let's start the imbalance measurement. The wheel is balanced. As you can see, it's not as complicated as you thought. We removed the old weights. Now we measure the imbalance again, 50 on 35. Earlier, we showed the ALU2 program. There's also the ALU3 program. It's exactly the same as ALU2. The only difference is that on the inside, the weight is hammered on, and on the outside, it's stuck on. Let's move on to the ALUS program. This is a more precise mode. But in this mode, the measurements are done completely differently. And for the ALUS program, we need to measure two diameters. The diameter at the first point and the diameter at the second point. For this, we'll take a tape measure in inches. The first weight will be installed here. The size is 22 inches at the first point. Let's look from above, 22 inches. And the diameter at the second point, where we balance the second weight, that will be right here. So we measure it. And let's see what size we get there. Well, it's pretty hard to measure here, to be honest. Well, we get 18.7. So let's move on to the measuring ruler. We're showing with the ruler where we're placing the first weight, the distance. So not right at the edge, but exactly to the first weight, that's the distance. Our value is 6 on the yellow ruler. 6 centimeters. Now let's move over here to the monitor. Size AA1. We enter 6, the distance to the first weight. And now size B, that's not the width of the disc, but the distance to the second weight. If I press it, you see what I mentioned earlier. The machine always detects the outer plane. The distance is 19 centimeters. Now we'll change it. Let's go back to the measuring ruler again. We bring the ruler up to the spot where the weight will be placed, but not right at the very edge. We step back a little so the adhesive weight can fit. And this measurement is 22.5 according to the yellow tape measure. 22.5. Let me draw your attention to this, right here on this one. That is, the ruler has a special slot where we place the round adhesive weight, and we need to step back from the edge exactly by the width of this weight. So remember the measurement, 22.5. Now let's move to the monitor. For size B, we enter 22.5. Now we set the diameter at the first point, where we first placed the ruler. We measured it beforehand with an inch tape measure. The first measurement is 22. And we need to enter the second measurement at the second point. This is done by pressing the find button and adjusting plus or minus. The second measurement is 18.7, just as the tape measure showed us. Release the buttons. All the measurements have been entered. Now we proceed with the imbalance measurement process. And as we can see, the imbalance values on the monitor have changed. This matches the weights we put on the first time. Now we'll install them and balance the wheel on the first try. Install 30 grams on the outside. Also select the plane on the left, inside. Set it to the 12 o'clock position. That's it, start it up. 0, 0, 0, 0. The wheel is balanced on the first try. So this mode is more accurate, but entering the measurements is much more complicated. That's basically it. We've covered all the modes. Now let's talk about the settings menu. To enter the settings, you need to press the stop button and the C button. The first value, fin, is rounding, set to 5. The B button switches it to either 10 or 15. That's the rounding setting. The A button changes the parameter. SP is the keyboard sound. So if we set it to off, you see, it doesn't beep anymore. LH is the display contrast. You can make it brighter or dimmer. Next. This is for inches and millimeters. That's it. I'd like to talk about the main mistakes operators make when working with this machine. First, when assembling this balancing machine, people often tighten the brake pedal too much, and the pedal ends up being pressed down. You try to release it, but it doesn't fully come back up. The brake column, the pad slows down the shaft, and this affects the quality of the balancing. The balancing becomes inaccurate. Second point. Often, when entering the size, people press the ruler too hard against the wheel rim, and here they bend the ruler by about 1 centimeter. As a result, the measurement is incorrect. The balancing is wrong. Third, incorrectly selected modes. I hope I've covered them, and now you understand how to properly balance wheels. Next point. A very dirty hub mounting surface and the shaft itself. This also significantly worsens the quality of wheel balancing. You often ask how to disable the guard. So right now, our guard is connected. When we close the guard, the wheel starts spinning. The NORDBERG company thought this through. To disable the guard, you just need to disconnect it. On the back, on the rear panel of the machine, there is a connector, like a power cord. We disconnect it, and the machine starts balancing without the guard. The connector is disconnected, and now, as you can see, the guard is disabled. Just press the start button. That's what you wanted. In conclusion, we'd like to say that we tried to tell you about the main features of this balancing machine. If you have any specific questions, write them in the comments. We will definitely help you and respond.